Where are our comments?
Hi, everyone. We're here tonight with Beautilicious. I'm Sabrina Aylis. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm here with the beautiful Elle Wilson, who is the founder and creator of the TRUEBROW system. And she's all the way over in Australia. And we're going to be talking tonight about the evolution of the brow, going all the way back for us tonight until the 1920s. And there was something, Elle, that you said earlier when we were talking about the things that we would discuss this evening. And I really loved how you said that, you know, we follow trends because we actually want to belong. You know, women want to belong in general. And you said that the death of a trend is really a woman standing up for herself. So I'd just like for you to talk about that, and let's start there.
Well, I think, hi Sabrina, how are you doing?
Hi, good. Sorry, I didn't say hi.
That's all right. That's okay. Hello, everyone. It's lovely to be with you again. And I'm just, before I respond to that, which is such a great question and a great opening, I just want to check that we've got, we know where our comments are and we can see them, and perfect. And also if we can bring that down just a little bit so I can see who's watching and so on as we move forward. So if you're watching, girls, we would love you to say hi to us. Otherwise, we just feel like we're just the two of us in the whole wide world, which is not
very big world.
But we know there are other people out there.
Right. There are at least a few.
Yeah, there's just a few. I think that what you know, when we were talking about this, you know, in preparation, one of the things that really stood out for me is, what is a trend? A trend is something that you follow. And of course we want to belong. We love belonging. It's part of our nature. It's part of a woman, you know, loves to belong. And it's kind of innate in us. And so trends mean that we follow so that we can belong. We're a part of something. You know, oh, we've got the new, you know, whether it's flares or whether it's, you know, we're sort of like following a trend, even with fashion, right. Whether it's fashion, whatever. But, you know, there are certain things that we have to be very careful of when we follow trends. We're going to talk about that in a second, because we're going to come back, of course, to brows, because historically we have seen, and even right now in the present, how devastating that can be to a woman's beauty. And that's the key thing that we're doing here, where we're really asking and helping and supporting women to protect their brow beauty. But back to what you said, believe it or not, I can remember it. When we stop following trends, we're kind of actually, what we're really saying that we're doing is that we're standing up and we're looking at what's best for us. We're not just being followers. We're not just saying, you know, we're becoming more discerning. We're looking for excellence and we're looking for quality. We're looking for what's best, not just to be a part of something for the sake of it. And, you know, we're not here to change this world. We're not here to stop trends. We're not here to, you know, look at the world right now. Let's not go there. We're not going there. But no, we're not here to change the world, but we're here to be the pillars within the world, you know, bringing out the very best in us. There's so much creativity inside of a woman. So much creativity. Hi, Amy. Good morning. And I think that one of the things that's really important is that if you don't access your own creativity, your own discernment, you're not standing tall. And women have gone through so much historically. Again, forget about brows. How much have women gone through? So it's kind of like, you know, and we've also gone through feminism, you know, the whole feminism. That's not my thing. I'm just letting you all know. I love you. I love you. I love you.
That's another show.
That's another show. You know, it's we don't have to be tough. We don't have to go into our masculine energy. We have to find inside here our creativity, our beautiful expression of what's inside of us. We don't follow other people's. And this is where TRUEBROW comes into it, is every brow is seen with fresh eyes. Every brow is given its unique vision. Every woman is given her unique vision. We're not just like stamping stencils, using rulers. We're not, that's not what we're doing. We're actually looking at the woman, you know, and actually falling in love with her brow, no matter what state it's in.
Correct.
So I think that the death of trends for me is like the rising of the woman.
That's good.
So yeah,
Somebody should write that down.
Write it down. Amy, write it down. Who else is, guys, please say hello from where, and tell us where you are in the world. We'd love to know. But it really is, it's the death of trends is the rising up of the woman. You know, it's like she's rising up and she's saying, I'm not going to follow a trend. I have extraordinary expression of creativity within me, and I'm going to access that. And I want to go to professionals that strive for excellence. I don't want to go to just anybody that's going to do the same for me so I can belong and feel like I'm a part of the herd, so to speak. Now, I know that sounds terrible, and I apologize in advance for having said that. Or actually, no, I said it after, didn't I? I've just apologized all round. But that's what happens to us, right? We become like, we get this herd mentality where we just follow fashion trends, or we're just like moving. It's funny, I don't know if you ever, I don't really do that very much. Like, I don't know why, it's just never happened in me.
I think I did a lot more when I was younger. I don't quite so much now anymore. And to your point, when I think back about the women that to me are iconic, I think of Audrey Hepburn, I think of Grace Kelly. I can't think of, I suppose if I sat for a few moments, I could think of someone in current culture, but I can't think of anyone at this moment that would represent the word that I would use describing a woman like this, which would be timeless.
Yeah, I love that.
I really can't think of a woman currently. I'll think about it. I'll let you know.
Excuse me. I wanted to be really good and put my little morning smoothie in a wine glass, but just so I could join you, but you didn't bring any wine tonight.
I didn't. Like, you know what? I flew in from work and I'm like, coming in hot, Elle.
and this beautiful, is that like, it's a little far away? Oh, I need my specs. Sorry, girls. This is what happens when you're over 50. But that's okay. I don't mind. I love it. It's Pinky. And she says, the death of trends is the rising of a woman. Love this. Yes. I wrote it down. Isn't that beautiful? I love it too. And I don't know where it came from, but it normally just comes out of creativity. This is the thing, when we give ourselves permission to expand, to open up the space within us, to be unlimited, to actually not be looking outside of ourselves to follow something, what we do is we access that inner life, we access that expression, creative expression that allows us to come forth and be who we are in the world and in our lives. And I love that, like for me, I don't follow trends. I buy things that I love. I don't follow designers. There are certain designers I love, but I see things. I might find something that's, not that I buy clothes anymore because I have so many that I wouldn't be able to fit in the house. I'd have to buy a bigger house or something just to get more clothes, or get rid of some so I can have more. But, at the end of the day, I think for me, it's always been something that I've loved is to create my own expression of how I am in, presenting myself in my life. And I love that. I love it because we get to do it. It's not that I love it because I'm against trends. If a trend was like amazing and I liked it, then I would do it. But I don't need to follow that so I can be enough. And I think that right now in the world, that's what's facing every single woman on this planet. Are you able? Are you courageous, brave enough to handle the unlimited expression of creativity, of beauty, of excellence that you desire, right? Of quality, of your own, everything inside. You have no idea how much there is in here. Like, Sabrina, we talk about this a lot, don't we?
We do.
And you need to look for these brands that are giving you the opportunity to go there, be that, be enough. And I love that. The other day I was interviewed by Chelsea Valentino. I love this young girl. She's a millennial. I love these millennials. I love them. If anyone says anything about millennials, they're going to come to me and I'll tell them off because I just love millennials. I think they're just fantastic. Anyway, so she was interviewing me and we got to the really deep stuff. And I was just saying to her, it's interesting, but how much joy, how much creativity can we even handle? How much happiness can we handle as women on the planet? It's really an interesting question. And it's the same with our expression of our own uniqueness, our own, not uniqueness as in that we're separate from others, but just our own creative expression. You know, I think it's,
Right.
I think it's really beautiful. And I think that trends, the death of trends is, it's timely. It's timing, you know, we for some of us, not everyone.
We're actually going through, I think, a little bit of a death of trends right now because so many things have stopped. I mean, people are finding that certain things aren't necessary anymore. They're not paying the type of attention that they used to pay to things. And I mean, I haven't looked at a magazine to see what trends are in clothing in at least 6 months. I don't even know if there's a trend out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
interesting, isn't it? And I think, you know what, why do we have to follow?
mhm.
Like we're followed, like look at Clara. We were deciding whether it's Bow or Bow or whatever her name was in the 1920s.
Yes.
Look at her brow. Wish we could have it on the screen. I mean, I think
Yes.
we did put it yesterday up on when we were sharing about TRUEBROW, about Beautilicious today, sorry. And you know, when you look at Clara, dear Clara, when you look at Clara's brow, you just, I don't even know what to say about it, you know, and it became a
Right.
trend. So
It did.
you know, celebrities do something and all of a sudden we think that we should do it too. And it's fascinating to me.
It's interesting, I think, the influence that celebrities have on the things that we choose to do, especially on brows. And of course, there are some iconic celebrities that have truly influenced brows, which you mentioned earlier, Brooke Shields. But there are so many compromised brows in Hollywood. Like it's mind blowing that we can't get our hands on them. That people actually do what they do.
Yeah, but not yet. But you know, it's going to be, the time will come where we're going to get our hands on all of them, and it's going to change. It's really going to change the perspective women have on the natural brow, because sadly, that is something. Like, I don't look for celebrity endorsements unless someone is in love with TRUEBROW. I refuse. I mean, I've had so many people that have come to me and they want to be paid before they even know what I do, before they even look at, and I just think, you know what, sorry, I don't go there. I don't care if you're, you know, Madonna, you know, if you're coming to me for money and you don't even ask me or say to me, you know what, I want to learn more about what you're doing. I want to fall in love before you pay me. And why should you have to pay someone so that if they're in love with what you do, it's just, you know, we're in a space in the world right now where that should be flowing. Like, we should be sharing what we love, not because someone's coughing up
Pays us.
payment, you know. And it's like, I had a huge influencer actually come to me, and we were chatting, and I brought up TRUEBROW. I said to her, you know, I'd love to share it with you. And she immediately after that, I said, I want you to fall in love with it, you know, before you talk about it. Like, I don't want you just talking about it. Sweet girl. Anyway, but the next minute, I know I've got this this message in Instagram, because she went looking and found me, and bam, 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 budget. And I just thought, you know what? I don't need that.
Oh, for her to talk about TRUEBROW on her.
And it's like, you know, it's not about that. You know, it's about the value. It's about the beauty. It's about, you know, it's about falling in love with it. And then it's a real giving to the world. You know,
well, that's because it's soulful. There are a lot of products that are not soulful, and people would pay her to just bam, 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 put it out there, because it would just simply sell the product.
It's amazing, isn't it, when you really think about that and how that happens. And that, again, is the world. And we're not trying to fix the world. We're not trying to change it. I don't mind that happens. But for us, it's like you said, Sabrina, we're looking out into the, you know, the whole world of celebrities. And thank goodness they can't microblade, right? That's one of the things that most of their contracts, they're not allowed to, even though a couple may have. And, you know, we just look at it and we're just saying, you know, wow, just let us help you. But it's not even about helping them. It's about helping every single woman that's prepared to stand up.
Sure.
And she's saying, you know, I'm enough and I want excellence. Like, I don't want mediocre. My brows are too important. I don't want just average. I don't want 2-day course or a 1-day course, you know, someone that's done a 1-day course. I want to master at freehand brow artistry, and I'm going to pay because this is what I want, you know. And I think that they're the beauty professionals that come to us, are the ones that are in love with excellence, which we're so lucky, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
We really, really are. And gosh, we're purists.
We are.
We're not capitalists. We're actually purists. This is the problem. What's going on?
I know, it's true.
But it's really, really beautiful to look at. Like, you look at Clara and you think, wow, love, you know, what was she thinking? Like, she was trying to express something through her brow. So I wonder, you know, I hope, girls, if you're watching, please say hi. We'd love to know where you're from and where you're watching from. But if you go back and have a look at the post on TRUEBROW, you'll see, or even on my profile, actually, you'll see Clara. Actually, her brows were like, Sabrina, what were they like? Like, what were they?
Well, they're very thin and they just droop down. And I'm wondering if it had anything to do with the, you know, I'm assuming she was definitely a silent film star. So I don't know if maybe from some sort of makeup perspective, they felt they were creating more drama, but it was certainly not attractive or beautiful on her.
I think she looked pretty sad and depressed. Actually,
yes.
It's a really good example to show you the power of the brow. Like, she just looked
Yes.
like a real, I mean, when you look at her and you look at, I mean, she was beautiful, but you look at her and it was almost like her brow was kind of like making her look sad.
Like the whole face was frowning.
Yeah, like really. And it's kind of like, oh, wow, that was amazing. And maybe, you know, it was an era for women too, where women were more in that victim kind of role, where they, or that kind of like, you know, I don't know, they were trying to be sort of sultry, but in a depressed kind of way. I mean, I don't really know.
Well, we're headed towards the Great Depression, but in the early 20s, they didn't know that yet.
That's right. That's right. But I think like now we're in an interesting time in the world where women have the opportunity to look within and stand tall in that, and stop this following the, you know, like, look at the leaders. Who are they? Who are these people we're following? I just want you to ask that question. Everyone should ask that question. Like, who's putting in the articles in your magazines where you go, oh, that's the new trend? Who are these people? What's going on in your world? You know, like, stand up, take charge, become discerning, have a look and ask yourself, what is the best for my timeless beauty? What's the best? And you might say, oh, Al, you're just plugging TRUEBROW. I'm not plugging TRUEBROW. I know TRUEBROW is the best. That's why I created it. Like, I refuse to do anything that is not of the highest benefit to the woman. And this is why I have women like Sabrina, and I have all my beautiful community, because that's how we gather. You know, it's like these amazing women that just keep gathering. They keep gathering from around the world because they're in love with the same thing. You know, it's not like I'm plugging something because I have to convince someone. I'm talking about something that is pure and really, really beautiful. And the extension of that to the woman, what would you say, Sabrina? The extension to the woman uplifts her, you know, it supports her confidence, doesn't it? And we're, you know, when we do our consultations and our discovery sessions.
Well, it transforms her.
Yeah.
In more ways than just how she looks. Transforms her in how she feels and her confidence to speak up and to present herself with a whole different energy.
And I think one of the things I loved with my clients when I used to have them one after the other, like, you know, like you do now, darling woman, I'm amazed that you're doing that, was really, I am. I know how rewarding it is, but I know the task,
it's a lot of work
to be a beauty professional and be on the tools like that it's an extraordinary feat for anyone. And especially when you're that sort of the purist and the perfectionist and things need to be flawless, and you're really not up against that inside of yourself, but you're coming from that inside of yourself.
Correct. Yeah.
That really, yeah, it's kind of like it's a feat. It really is, like you're heroes. Are we allowed to say heroine or hero, actor, actress? I better get that right. Are we allowed to? Is it politically correct? Like, I'd probably say the wrong thing.
To say I'm a hero, we're heroes?
Heroes.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, let's say heroes. That's not masculine, is it? Like, is that like
I think it's okay.
Anyway, that'll do. So I just think that really, you know, every woman that's doing that in this industry and really cares and puts the effort and the time in and is coming from that pure space within, that creative space, it's really something, isn't it? And I can't remember what I was talking about. This happens every single time. What is it?
Well,
like, really just talking and all of a sudden, maybe.
Well, we were talking about how it transforms the woman, the brow, how it transforms the woman, how it changes her,
yes,
how it uplifts her confidence.
Yes. But also, like, like for me, I just think there's a femininity, there's the feminine side of it. It's like, you know, I don't know what Clara was doing, and I certainly don't know what Twiggy was doing. And maybe Twiggy just had thin, skinny brows, and everybody thought, oh, look at those beautiful eyes, and she's a supermodel, and we should all do that and ruin
She had huge eyes.
I mean, she just literally, I mean, I love Twiggy. I thought she was so beautiful, you know, she had this like kind of enchanted, kind of beautiful kind of face, didn't she? Like a look about her. But did you have to all go and follow her skinny little brows? Like, did we do that? Like, she actually, I don't know if she was.
Yeah, they really just covered like the whites of her eyes. They were so short.
Yeah, but
we just kind of sat right here.
Maybe we should put a photo up of us so everyone could see and go, you know, this is what we did. And we don't have to feel bad about it. Like, it's not like judging ourselves if we follow trends. And it's not about making judgments about ourselves. It's about wisening up and going, why do I do that? Like, I've never questioned that. I've never examined why I just keep following trends. You know, and
then the 70s, we were both just on the other side of the 70s. We weren't really old enough to be out in the, you know, Studio 54, but you know, in the 70s when they started tweezing them really, really thin and highly arched, it was almost like from the makeup artist's perspective, the brows completely took a back seat to the makeup, because the makeup, of course, was so flamboyant, you know, the disco, the glitter, the glitz, the dancing. And so the brows just really seemed almost to be tweezed so high up and arched, more for the opportunity to display the makeup. Not even, they just forgot about the brows. The brows just left town.
Well, but the thing is that, you know, unless they removed all of them, you know, they were doing something with the brow.
Of course.
And what they were doing was just completely annihilating the brow.
Exactly.
And then, of course, women just thought, oh, thin brows. But, you know, I'm waiting for the next, like, I really am. I'm waiting for this to come back, because to everyone who's watching, you have to say, yes, I believe this, Elle. We see this all the time. Tell us, please tell us. Like, just write a little comment. You have to admit, like, everything goes around that comes around, you know, like this trends most of the time. Like, people talk about lash lifts right now. Well, you know, 30 years ago, that was called the lash perm. They changed the name, and then all of a sudden it comes in and it's a lash lift, and it's like, oh, okay, well, you know, is that new? And it's like, no, it's not. You know, like, very rarely I think kind of.
It's not new.
It's not. Don't, you know, I'm old. Hey,
don't try and pull the wool over my eyes. Don't be dodgy with me.
But the other thing is too, it's like, it's the same with fashion. It's the same with decor. You know, look at decor. We call things vintage, but, you know, they're vintage, but they're now like modern right now. It's like, you know, this is the whole thing. And the other day, I have to tell you this, girls, this was so funny, so funny. My mum, I love going into antique stores. It's one of my favorite things. And I love French antiques. It's one of my favorite. And yes, it's all like fancy and blah, blah, blah. And I love it, right? Anyway, and I love blending it with modern, like, contemporary things. I think it can just be so beautiful. Anyway, but I love going into antique stores. Poor Toby, he just comes with me. You know, it's kind of like, hi, Lucy, how are you? And he comes with me. Anyway, and sometimes, you know, I lose him because he's out the front on his phone thinking, oh, how long is she going to take? You know, whatever. Sometimes I drag him in with me and say, oh, please come. And he goes, oh, all right, I'll come with you. But anyway, so I go into these beautiful vintage and antique stores, and I saw this, like, this bull, a red bull with white horns. Like, you know, like how the bull has horns, basically. And there it was. And I thought, oh my gosh, I thought my mother had that in her little, she must have bought it for like $10 or something, right? It was $386 or something like that.
Should have kept that.
I thought that was my inheritance. What's going on? All these little things that we see that come back, don't they just keep coming back again all the time? Have you seen
history
that?
repeats itself and we don't learn.
So do we want it to repeat itself again with brows? You know, like
No,
waiting
no.
for girls, I'm waiting for all of a sudden the thin, some model to come out with a thin brow. You know, Cara Delevingne.
Or for it to show up on the runway and then all of a sudden everyone thinks it's all the rage.
I mean, you know, at the end of the day, exactly, are we going to do that? Would you wear half the things that are on the runway anyway? Like it is that's a show, right? That's not like for us to go out and do that in our lives. We have to do what looks the most beautiful for us, what, you know, enhances us, what, again, it's that expression of who we are in this life. We have this opportunity to be here, as crazy as the world is, but in the midst of crazy, we can express ourselves in our own unique and beautiful way, you know, and our brows are a huge part of that. And we can't just keep giving them to trends. So I'm waiting for it really. And I want to know how many women would go and actually go really thin, because really thick came in. Remember, Sabrina? Recently.
Yes, very thick came with Cara Delevingne and the Kardashians and the Instagram brow where you actually met the Sharpie application in person and couldn't even believe that you were meeting it. I mean, it's like, what does she have on her face?
But you know, the thing is too with this big thick brow is that if a thick brow doesn't have a beautiful design to it, it just looks ugly. Sorry, it looks like a slug on above your eyeballs. And I know that sounds terrible. And you know, you might say, "Oh, how could you say that?" I'm so sorry, but you know, like how many times I've been in stores and I've seen these beautiful young girls, absolutely glorious young girls, and I think to myself, could you just let me just tweak your brow just a little bit, you know, because it's just this like black kind of thing on the top of her face. And again, you know, we're following trends and we think because something might look good on Lily or something looks good on Cara, that it's going to look great on us. And we need professionals that are not going to let us down. We need professionals. And this is what we teach our TRUEBROW specialists. This is the key. When you educate, you're doing this, Sabrina. You know, when I'm educating, we're doing it. We're doing it every week on the live classes. What we're saying is we're working with the woman and we're working with the beauty of that brow. We're not working with the trend. We're timelessly creating something for that woman. And I think that is just so important. There's a big difference. There's a big difference between, yeah, let's just do a big, fat, blocky brow, because the client comes in and says, you know, I want thick brows. Well, I think what the clients are saying is, please don't thin my brows out too much.
Right.
You know, I want my brows to look as beautiful and as full as possible. But if you omit the design, you're in pretty serious trouble when it comes to that, right?
Right.
But the other thing that we were going to talk about is our personal eyebrow evolution over the years. Well, I spoke about it and I spilt it all out. I said that in Beautilicious, our first Beautilicious, where I spoke about basically, you know, my biggest mistake, the biggest beauty blunder that I did when I had my brows tattooed, and I'm paying the price for that right now, 30 years later. But I was young and dumb. We decided, we actually did.
We covered that.
We covered that, and we said she was young and dumb, and that's just that. Now, Tracy said, can I just say that you two ladies have the most gorgeous brows right now? Oh, Tracy, thank you so much. Thank you. That's TRUEBROW, Tracy. That's
right.
The thing.
That is.
And you know, we're like, you know, the thing is too, that this is for every single woman. Oh, I'm at 56, right?
I'm 53.
Glory, 56, 53. Gosh, you don't look 53. Don't tell me how you're feeling. Don't go down that path. Don't be naughty.
Okay, I won't. I feel 53.
You know, that's okay too. We're allowed to feel. I don't know, what does 56 actually even feel like though, really? What is it meant to feel like?
I suppose, however you individually interpret it.
That's it. And you know, the more I can tell you girls something, the more that you access your creative expression, and I've really had to learn this. And most of the time, Sabby up there is, she's not up there, she's up there for me, but she's actually probably across your screen, is you look how radiant she is and how beautiful she is. So, you know, I think that one thing that we really want to share in Beautilicious every single week, every time we come here, we really want to share with you that age is not, it's, you know, you're not determined how you look and how you feel isn't determined by your age. And and this is not, you know, like for me, I don't do any invasive things. I don't do anything like that. I take care of myself. But I really believe strongly, Sabrina, and I know that you do the same with your skin, and you've done it for so many years with our brows. But one of the things is that creative expression, when you stop following, when you stop following, what you're saying is, I'm enough. And it doesn't mean I'm enough and I don't have to have a makeup bag. You don't want to know how much makeup I've got.
Or I don't like that new color that's out there. But
yeah, it doesn't mean that at all, does it? But what we're saying is that you use your creative expression more, like go deeper. And if you want to know more about that, you can jump into Power Shift, which is my private group, but we talk about these things a little more. But True Brow, we're doing that here as well, you know, because we did that last week and the week before. Why do we do that all the time? I'm sure we're supposed to talk about things.
Well, first of all, reiteration and you know, repetitiveness is what actually helps it to start making sense for people that haven't heard you speak before. So it's good. Over and over again. It's good.
That's a really beautiful word. That word that you said. What was it? I can't even.
I said a bunch of them.
Yeah, you did. Anyway.
Repetitive?
No, the other one. It was so beautiful. I can't even, it was just like, it just flowed out. Anyway, never mind. Forget about me. But I think that's important, because, you know, when we're accessing that creativity, we're opening, we're actually enough. We're finding the part. We're not trying to fix ourselves. We're not trying to change ourselves and become a better person. You know, a better version of myself. You know, I mean, that's just like, okay, what about that? We're talking about finding that perfection, that creative expression inside of ourselves, that beauty inside of ourselves that is waiting to come out through ourselves, through our eyes, through every part of ourselves. And then, you know, you make better decisions about your beauty.
Right.
So you make better decisions about, you become more discerning, because that part of you is very wise. And, you know, and a lot of the time we're looking for magazines to tell us what to do. We're looking for influencers. I mean, Clara, whatever her name was, Bell or whatever, she was an influencer back then. They didn't have Insta, but they had influencers. So, you know, what we're saying is be influenced by your own internal wisdom and your own internal creativity, your own expression. You've got so much wisdom in there, ladies, so much wisdom. It knows how to have a deep, meaningful relationship with itself, with its body, with its decisions around beauty. You know, it doesn't look at speed and, oh, I want the easiest, fastest way for my brows. It doesn't do that, because it knows that they're just little fads. They're silly things that really marketing companies just shove down our throats, trying to get us to just take us up on them.
Buy more and buy more and buy more.
Yeah, and it's, you know, like it's the same with tattooing. Oh, I want a microblading. You know, I'm going to go a microblade, and that's going to be the answer to all of my brow problems. Well, in fact, the majority of the time, it becomes your brow problem.
Correct. Wow, that's not,
you know, you don't need the shortcuts. When you start to slow down inside and you calm down and you breathe more, you become more intimate with your inner life. You know, you relax more. You're not just, you know, you're enough. You realize that, wow, I am enough. And it's magnificent, because what happens then is you're not in survival mode. And so when you're out of survival mode, you access inspirational thinking, inspirational creativity. You access, your heart opens. It's like, you know, you access your mystery. You know, one of the things I really want to start talking about here, and it's going to be a bit naughty for me to do it, but I don't know. I mean, you know, to me, I just think that TRUEBROW is so sensual. It's so sensual, the way that women, you know, can be, their brows can be almost like really kind of ordinary and average, and we turn them into these sensual kind of pieces of art, right? So I want to open up the conversation about sensuality, sexuality for women. Like, again, that's that deeper kind of expression of us, but not in a distorted way.
Right.
You know, not in a way that's distorted, but in a way that we're expressing our femininity and our sensuality on our faces through our brows. You know, I love that. Is that not beautiful? I'm talking.
I think it's beautiful.
Do you think that that's beautiful? And it doesn't matter how old we are. We could be 70, we could be 75, we could be 21. Because you're expressing constantly. If you're watching and you've just jumped on, we would love to know where you are located. That would be fantastic for us, because we like to know that you're saying hi to us. We love to say and share your thoughts. Hey, if you don't agree with us and you just think, oh, what are you talking about? Tell us that too. We don't mind. You can say whatever you want. But we mostly like it when people like what we're saying, don't we? Really. So I'm not sure. Yeah.
It's nice.
So, you know, I really want to go there, because a part of, you know, when our sexuality and our sensuality has an opportunity to flow through us in a way that's not distorted, you know, I mean, doctors have said this, you know, who was that doctor that was talking about menopause and talking about women and, you know, having, as they're older, they should be getting at it, you know, and going for it with their hubbies. Anyway, who knows? Christine something, her name.
Who was that doctor? Check her out.
Do it more. Right. But at the end of the day, there is something about that, but in a way that it's not distorted. We don't have to distort ourselves so that we can, we've done that for so long, you know, because we believe we're not enough. You know, it keeps coming back to that, doesn't it? We believe we're not enough. So then we distort our inner life. We use the outside world to define us. We become these followers. We stop discerning. We stop using our inner wisdom. And that is devastating for women. So that's another trend we need to stop doing. You know, we need to stop that in a way. And you know, it's kind of like joy is our, you know, when the more joy you let into your life, and I mean real joy, Sabrina, this is true.
Right.
It just, you can see it all over a woman. You just look at her and you just think, what is it about her? And it's fascinating to me. I just love it. I had to really learn that, you know, because I had this relationship with it's probably a bit addicted to suffering, a bit addicted to the victim, all of that in my life, you know. And you've got to sort of kind of break up with that. You know, it's kind of like saying, you know what, I'm just gonna break up with suffering. I'm not sure that, you know, you have to be my close
not working
friend.
For me.
Yeah, I just kind of think, yeah, that was nice, but you know, I'm going to do something different now. And I think for me, the journey into that was just really amazing. So Amy says, our instant gratification society has caused many to make choices that have long-term repercussions. That is also devastating. Yes, it is that. And I think also too, I don't know, what have you got to say about that, Sabrina?
Well, I think that
you've got triplets and another daughter.
Sure. I don't, you know, so far I don't think that they have gone down the road of any sort of decisions from instant gratification that has detrimentally affected their lives at this point. But we talk about it all the time, and I definitely think women make those choices. And when we talk about, I mean, I hate to keep going back to microblading, but we are talking about brows, and that is what we do. You know, those are the types of decisions that women are making, wanting instant gratification, and then down the road, they're detrimentally affected for the rest of their lives.
Yes, I'm so sorry, Sabrina. I'm sure that what you said was really good, but
did you not listen to me?
And I didn't listen to it. That's so
well, I can't repeat it because I can't remember.
But Tracy said something beautiful. She said, I'm in Hawke's Bay, New Zealand. Welcome. And she says, love what you're saying about age. Most of my clients are mature women and they just want a natural look that enhances their beauty within. And a beautiful natural brow design can lift their face and instantly take 10 years, yes, off.
Yes, for
I love this
sure.
so much that I found myself now focusing on the more natural woman. Now, yeah, mature woman. You know, so many women have said to me that they are made to feel like it's a bit far from me, Tracy. I'm so sorry. Taking pride in their appearance is vanity. I would like to change that perception. Yeah, that's great. So that kind of leads us into something else, doesn't it? You know, I think that the more, Tracy, and I'm sure Sabrina will have something to share about that, that you go into those, in your heart, and your heart is open, and you're feeling joy, and you're feeling happy for no good reason, just for the sake of that. That's your natural state, right? Without stories, without kind of all these judgments and kind of grievances that we experience and we think is real in this world. We're just joy radiating out of a beautiful heart space. You know, we're just joy. We're happy. And I think that once we start layering our heart with all these false ideas, beliefs, stories, for example, you know, that taking pride in my appearance is vanity, that's just a story. It's actually a false belief, and no one can enforce that on us or make us believe that. We can believe that, and we can make that real for ourselves. But we could drop it in a second, and we can see it and go, "What? Where's that coming from?" You know, and ask yourself, you know, like, where did I first decide that I was going to believe that? That's crazy. You know, we don't have to take it on just because a thought comes up or someone says something. We don't really have to take on anything that anybody says. You know, what we must always do is check in with, you know, how is it inside of us? If it's triggering something, then you've got something to let go of inside of you. You know, you might be hanging on to a belief that isn't true, and that's an opportunity, and that's another Beautilicious. But you know, I think that perception, that is a false belief, and it's kind of like, you know, if I had someone say that to me, I guess I would just say, well, yeah, I guess you know, you kind of know inside yourself that's not true, because the more that and that's enough, you know, because, you know, the more that we look within, and the more that we actually allow our creativity, our creative expression, our wholeness to come out and be in the world, which means that, you know, our enoughness, you know, we have everything we need and want within, and we start there, then we do want to take care of ourselves. We don't just slump into, you know, but the way where we're coming from when we're taking care of ourselves is a completely different thing. It's not through insecurity. It's not through following a trend, feeling like, again, we're not enough, feeling like, you know, if my husband sees me without makeup, or my friends won't, you know, love me or whatever. Or I won't love myself if I look at myself in the mirror. You know, the times that I look at myself in the mirror and I feel, oh, it's funny now when I look at myself in the mirror, I don't even know. Like I have such I put my makeup on to do Beautilicious and other things, and it's so light for me. It's such a lightness. There's such a lightness in me, because it's funny, like I'm putting on a face kind of thing, you know, and there's something really sweet about it, but it's not serious, you know. And here we are, we're talking about, you know, beauty, and it's so okay to want to look and feel beautiful, however that is, you know, but to be discerning about it in your choices.
That's beautiful. I was just thinking about a client that I take care of who we did TRUEBROW on her, and she said, and she's a more mature lady, and she said that, you know, one of the things, unfortunately, from societal standpoint, one of the things that women can experience as they become more and more mature women is that they feel invisible. And when we did her brows, she was so excited. It just kind of transformed her, and she didn't feel so invisible anymore.
That's so when you think about that, you know, for me, when I hear that, I sort of kind of let it in, and I just think to myself, you know, it's because I've experienced that a little bit, but I don't mind. Like for me, I actually, you know, because when I was younger, you know, I know I'd walk around and you'd get someone, you know, you'd get attention somehow because you're younger, you know, it's just how it is. And like now, I've noticed over the years, you know, I love watching all these young women, and I just think, you know, it's their time. And for me, it's kind of like I've found value deeper within me where I don't need them. But I love that she can say that, and that we can give her something that uplifts her. So everyone's different. Like this is what I mean. I really want to make this point. As we mature and we move through the phases of this life, everything is going to change, and we can do everything within our power, and the world will continue to give us things so that we can stop this process of these phases and this change. And in that, we need to discern. And something like TRUEBROW, like what you gave her, is a timeless, dignified, beautiful expression of who she is right now. You haven't changed her. Like, it's her original natural brow, and you have just made it beautiful. So you've uplifted her, which is really beautiful. But, you know, to go through the phases of this life and be rejecting them, resisting them, is an enormous amount of stress. And stress, we know, causes aging. And it accelerates that aging, you know. And so for me, it's kind of like I'm so open to the phases of life. And it doesn't mean I don't take care of myself. It doesn't mean that I don't take the time to explore within myself different things that I can use. I love using natural skincare. Like, I used to make my own skincare line. I'm very fussy with what I use, but my happiness doesn't depend on it, Sabrina. That's what I'm trying to say. My happiness doesn't depend on my, you know, like I'm not resisting the phase of this life. I'm actually opening and loving each and every phase that is before me. And I realize that wisdom, when we start to access that inner wisdom, we find our real value. We find our enoughness. We find our wholeness. We find what doesn't change. We find the constant. We find the eternal. We find that which doesn't change, and has always been there. And we've been racing around our whole life in the world trying to find that thing that's going to make us feel so good, you know. And yet we've had something inside of ourselves that is so nourishing, so nurturing, and so completely and entirely fulfilling. It's quite astounding, isn't it? And kind of when I come from that, when I came from that, that's how I created TRUEBROW. Like, TRUEBROW was created from that. Can you just hear that noise in the background? Someone's mowing the lawn in our beautiful resort. It's a good thing.
Oh, at least they aren't jackhammering like they were that one time.
It's right outside my window, let me tell you. So Tracy says, of course it is. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. My clients feel invisible when they walk in, and I can see that a small thing like a beautiful brow has uplifted them. That's so beautiful. And Amy says, completely off topic, but I love the headband. Oh, you know what, Amy? I have had this headband, I think, for about 25 years, I would say. And it was the best headband I ever bought. I probably should have bought more, but in fact, no. I mean, this has been so good, and I love wearing it too. So thank you so much. Thank you. That's really sweet of you. And you're allowed to go off topic. You are allowed, ladies, here to say whatever you want. Whatever pleases you, you can say. That's completely fine. So Sabrina, is there anything else that we sort of went off topic? Did we go off topic? We always go off topic.
Oh, we did a little bit, and that sort of happens, but we did get to the gist of our point. And you know, I think some of the takeaways are, well, not really takeaways, but some of the things that were important that we talked about was, you know, don't get a thin brow ever. Don't ever follow that trend. Let's just stop it in its tracks.
Yeah, the brow trends. Have a look, go back for yourself, go and Google it. Oh, not Google, use another, whatever, you know, it doesn't have to be Google, but just it gets enough airplay, doesn't it? Just go on the internet and put in the evolution of the brow, and you go take a look for yourself. Are you prepared to go down that path with one of the most important, essential parts of your beauty? Are you prepared for one to let someone, you know, like slice your brows up to put pigment in there and actually, you know, tattoo, microblade your brow? Do you really want them to do that? If you've done it, check out TRUEBROW. Let's help you. Go find a specialist. Contact me. Go and add me as a friend on Facebook and contact me. I'm available. I'll say hello to you. Go and contact me and say to me, Elle, you know, what do I do? This is what I'm thinking. Contact Sabrina. You know, go to Sabrina Brown Skin, and or go to any of our TRUEBROW specialists that are on our directory.
Absolutely.
Soon on our directory, you're going to be able to go into every single one of our girls that is on there, and they will have their own page, their own story on there for you, brow images, so that, you know, you can really assess where you want to go, who you want to see. And for those of you that don't have TRUEBROW specialists in your location, we are pretty eclectic with the people that come on board. As I said, we're looking for the beauty professionals that want excellence. Otherwise, there's no point in giving out our beautiful system, because, you know, there's just no point to that. So contact us. And a lot of our girls do digital on using, you know, Zoom, like we are using right now. And they can support you with a collection, send you out some collection and help you to actually apply it. Anything is possible if you really want it. Do not for a moment think that you don't have an opportunity. Contact me. That's fine. But I love that we spoke about some, just to do a quick overview. I love that we spoke about, you know, the inner expression. I don't, even when I use the word uniqueness, I kind of, we do have that tiny little flavor of it that is uniquely ours. Look for it, ladies. Go in there, explore it. Love it. Love that you get to be here in this world, even though it's at the moment a little, you know, expressing itself in a very crazy way. Change is always an amazing thing, and we shouldn't be afraid of it. We shouldn't resist it. Don't be stressed. Know that deep within you are, you know, you're beautiful. You are enough. And it doesn't matter what's before you. You have enough strength, you have enough courage and bravery within, when you're looking in the right place, to be able to move through anything that this life gives you. You are bigger than life, and more beautiful than you can imagine. So we want to keep reminding you about this on Beautilicious every single week. We're going to come with another beauty topic next week. We have to think about it. Otherwise, ask us the questions. Otherwise, we just got to go into brainstorming mode. Why don't you send through a question, or send it here, post it under here, and say, I want the two of you to talk about whatever. What do you think, Sabrina?
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, then we don't have to do it, really, actually. We're just asking.
Right.
You
Let us off the hook a week or two.
Yeah, go on. Come on, girls. Anyway, it's been beautiful. Sabrina, it's always beautiful to be with you. Thank you so much, ladies. And Tracy says, thank you, ladies. I must get back to work. Love listening to you. Oh, that's adorable. Thank you, Tracy. We love all your beautiful messages. And go keep doing the beautiful work that you're doing with those beautiful women of yours, your clients. They're lucky to have you. Thank you, everyone, so much. Cheers, Sabrina. Till next.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone. Take care now.